Good evening, everybody. Sorry for all the disturbances which is happening. Just let me introduce to our esteemed guest for this evening, Mr. Ram Krishna Rao Gubbala, a forest and wildlife consultant. He is an enterprising leader and versatile deputy conservator of forests, retired Andhra Pradesh with over 40 years of experience in the field of forest and wildlife, urban forestry, horticulture, planning and management of protected areas, and resource person on environmental laws, including Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and management of wildlife. Having graduated in 1977 in BSc Botany Zoology Chemistry from Osmania University and did his master's MSc in chemistry from Osmania University in 79. He actually pursued law from Aurangabad, Marathwada University. There's a lot of other diploma courses to increase his expertise, and has been a seasoned and transformational management profession with 40 years of established track record of excellent skill in management of forest and wildlife, urban recreational forestry, regeneration of forest, artificial, including large-scale plantation, wildlife management and conservation, demonstrated ability in management of ecological services, including endangered species, native habitat restoration, and federal activities like wildlife rehabilitation efforts. Environmental planning and project management, develop and design the Environmental Education Center at Kawal Tiger Reserve and the Center for Manjira and Pocharam. Has put rigorous efforts toward management of Tiger Reserve by leveraging comprehensive understanding of corridors of Kanha, Pench, and Toba Kawal. Forest plantation, horticulture, and biodiversity, highly skilled in planning, management, coordination, supervision, and monitoring of biodiversity, conservation, and management activities to ensure efficient and timely delivery of program goals, objectives, and targets. Studied over more than 10,000 hectares of plantation, nurseries, etc. Outstanding and vast knowledge of environmental conservation techniques and practices, excellent ability to implement wildlife rehabilitation effort, exposure to wildlife conservation methods, ability to identify potential conservation threats, development and restoration of forests and wildlife areas, strong ability to set goals and delegate responsibility, very good time management and prioritizing skill. He has been widely traveled nationally and internationally across various as his professional role, as well as contributed in publication of butterfly fauna or Manjira Wildlife Sanctuary, records of Judd and Baza, and numerous other papers he has published. Has worked since 2019 in wildlife matters and preparation of wildlife conservation plans for the firms organized as a mandatory to EIA as consultant. Prior to that, he was the deputy conservator of forest, Neeru Chettu, and wildlife conservation expert. He was also part of Nehru Zoological Park as forest utilization officer and curator of Nehru Zoological Park. Earlier, prior to that, he was with Kawal Wildlife Sanctuary Tiger Reserve as a divisional forest officer, Wildlife Sanctuary as a district forest officer in Medak, and AP State Forest Academy as a deputy director. Before that, as an instructor. Over to you, sir. Quite a wide, vast of experience you have. We'll look forward for a very interesting knowledge sharing from you, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. You are all well-learned people, actually. There is nothing academically I can teach you on biodiversity, but definitely I can share my of the experience, actually.
Exactly, sir.
And because of my experience, around 7 years, I was there in the urban forestry. And that will be things now. Let me tell you about entire lectures and everything is in one slide. That is one planet, one home, and billion reasons to save it. Entire issues have been sorted out in the slide. The shrinking of the forest, spreading of desert, contaminated water, soil and air, rising levels of the greenhouse, global warming, melting of ice, increase of level of oceans, depletion of ozone layer. So these all amount to the destruction of the planet, actually, what we are doing and what we are doing for that. Now, let me tell you about that. I'll tell you some 5 minutes about what is biodiversity. Though everybody knows it, let me tell you. And again, that I'll tell you that what is the objects of the corporations and how they plan for the urban diversity in these corporations, particularly in Hyderabad and Warangal areas. And I'll present both the case studies of the Warangal and Hyderabad corporations. Then I'll tell you, conclude with that, what can be done in the urban landscapes. The definition is that variability among living organisms, all sources, terrestrial, marine, and other aquatic systems, ecological complexes which they are part. Already told that it is within the species or the between the species and of the ecosystems. I'll show you that. The first one is the genetic diversity. This is the within the species. Human beings are different, and one man looks like that, one man other. These all individual has a unique genetic architecture. That's why we are different. Likewise, if you think of the paddy, you can see the 50,000 of the paddy, though the name is the only GMAS and Oryza sativum that. So like that, genetic diversity is the product of the recombination of the genetic material. Sexual reproduction is very important for the genetic diversity. It gives the unique offspring. And a simple example of the forest and biodiversity example, I will tell you about the genetic diversity. Around 30 to 40 years back, that lions of the Gir lions, they started disappearing and coming to the end of that. Around 8 to 9 lions were left in the Gir. At the time, government started to work out to save the lions there. But gradually, the lions have been increased. As of today, there are around 674 lions are there in the Gir forest. But they were assessed in our CCMB and other areas. The genetic diversity in the lions is very, 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 very poor actually. Because all the 674 lions and mother and father are only that 8 to 9 lions which were left. There is no diversity at all. And simple disease, 29 lions, 30 lions, 100 lions, they are dying that. A day is not a far off if the things are not taken care of that. That's why government has started to relocate some of the lions at some other place. Because of the Gujarat is not agreeing to share their lions because they feel the pride of it. The project is pending in the Supreme Court and other wildlife areas. So this is one example which I want to teach the elite people that how that if the diversity is more, if the tigers, say for example, if you think of the tigers, there are around Nalamala 60 tigers are there. If the breed interval, so naturally genetic diversity is more. That is about the diversity. You can see that the varieties of the paddy, there is around 40-50 varieties you can see in our Andhra Pradesh. You can see the varieties of the corn actually. Like that, you can see about the another type of the diversity is that species diversity. This can be said in two ways. One is species richness and species evenness. So one particular area, if you have a more number of species, you can call it as a species richness. You can see that the Great Barrier Reef of in Australia is having so much of biodiversity. I can say that 400 species of the coral, 1500 species of the fish, 4000 species of mollusca, and other so and all varieties. And our biodiversity is nothing less than any part of the world, because we part in the tropical area. The biodiversity in our country is very high. Just I quoted an example of the Seshachalam biosphere. In the country, there are around 18 biospheres. One is in Andhra Pradesh, that is Seshachalam. It is just 4,700 hectares. You can see 1756 species of the plants, around 300 species of the birds, 35 species of snakes, 21 species of lizards, Like that, 38 species of mammals. So the biodiversity is like that. This is the diversity, what you can see that. And when come to the final third definition of the biodiversity, in which we are connected to it, that ecosystem. Say, for example, a pond is there. The pond has a water along with other living things now. The water has no life, but other living things have life. An ecosystem is defined community of life forms in concurrence with non-living components. There may be huge hill surrounding, there is a biodiversity. So hill and the biodiversity, that life mixed together is an ecosystem in diversity. What we are talking about all the things in that urban areas are that the ecosystem biodiversity. In a simple manner, that if you see only the ecosystem biodiversity, there may be human populations, humans and other species, you can call it as a niche. The third column, which you can see that the number of niches are more, that it is in a habitat. The number of habitats are there is in ecosystems. Number of ecosystem, it become a landscape. Number of landscapes, it become a bioregions. Then biomes. Then bioregions. And then biosphere. That's about the area about that. So why urban biodiversity is important? In a short, I can tell you that the 56% of the world population live in the urban areas and likely to increase by 68% by 2050. So this shows that how we should be cautious about the urban population. And the urban population consumes 75% of the natural resources and emit around 80% of the greenhouse gases. We destroy most of the planet and we use the natural resources, not the villages, not the rural areas. So this is the statistics now. And if you talk about, as on today, the protected areas are the basic component for the major biodiversity in the world. If you think of the world, it is around 14.7% of the world land is under the protected area, maybe around 2 lakhs of the protected areas, and 10% of the territorial waters. The people who doesn't know about the territorial, 12 nautical miles from the sea, that is called as the territorial waters. So 10% of the waters is also under protection. So world, they have a 14.7% of the protected area. Protected area means that it is protected by some of other law. So forest is not protected. Forest is destruction. People will be allowing, plantation will be done, a lot of other things will be done. It is not intact. It is not inviolate. That is human disturbance always there in the forest. But it is generally, it is very, very bare minimum in the protected areas. I can still make you clear that this is the present scenario of the India. You can see that there are 566 sanctuaries, national parks, conservation reserves, tiger projects, elephant projects, biospheres. These are all covered under some law for protecting the biodiversity. So like that, the geographical area, we have that in forest, India, we have around 21.6% of the forest. If you cover the other tree cover, say mango orchard, some other trees in your house, some other parks, some other things, all put together, it will be 24.5%. 1/4 of the area is under forest. If you come to the protected area, when you compare, the world is 14.7% and India is 5.2%, 5.02%. So this is the dire necessity that the urban biodiversity has to be taken care of. Now comes to the what can be done for the urban biodiversity. I can tell you, you are all the people, architects, you are planning and all the things. 75% of the Hyderabad houses, everybody thinks that he want to construct in a house in 100%. He purchases 200 square yards of the house and he destroys entire, whatever the biodiversity in the 200 square yards. He fells all the trees, he removes everything and he construct a house. Inside also they will do the flooring and outside the wall also, because that it should be neat, that fellow will make it. So he is not allowing the water to seepage. He is not allowing to the any biodiversity. Hardly 1 or 2 trees will be planted. That is about the 70% of the towns basically. and your architects, you are the planning for the institutes, certain organizations, certain say universities, certain larger components only you are considering into that. So however, the urban forestry wing of the corporations or the municipalities or the panchayatis, of course recently our state of Telangana, Haritaharam and other parks in villages, mandals, towns which are coming, we are going a little in a much better manner when compared to other states. So what can be done in the urban biodiversity by the corporations or by the civic bodies? What should be our objective of that? I mean that to plan the urban areas to accommodate more of soft landscapes, to identify the areas for development of landscapes in the existing environment, to plan for an in situ conservation of the water through protection, conservation, maintenance of urban water bodies, to increase the diversity of the plant species in urban ecology, to integrate ecological and aesthetic aspects in urban environment planning and management, to involve the stakeholders in the development and maintenance of the landscapes. These are the basic objectives on which we have to work out and do some in that. Getting a new area for the planting is very difficult in the city. Say, for example, we think that planting an avenue tree on the footpath is easy. It is not easy that. First of all, the cost of the plant may be 100 to 200 rupees. Then pitting and planting. Then 300 to 400 rupees will be the tree garden, the protection, and 2-3 years watering. It comes around 2,000 to 3,000 rupees to grow a plant in the city. Growing a plant in the city is very, very, very difficult because everybody is an enemy to that plant. Some walker goes that he may be totally into that. Some other fellow goes that he will be doing something nonsense to the plant. So ultimately, survival of the plant. I'll tell you one example of that. Fortunately, I worked under Dr. P.K. Mohanty and Mrs. Smita Sabharwal, who is there with the Honorable Chief Minister now. So the Dr. Mohanty used to watch every trees. He can identify all the species also. And when he is coming from Krishna Oberoi, there was everybody can see that the pride of India, the Lagostomia species of plants. It is totally rock area. We have removed the rock and we put some soil there and we planted Lagostomia speciosa. So for the survival of that Lagostomia speciosa, a 12,000 liter tanker used to be used right from Krishna Oberoi to Kairata bus center. There is around 200 plants. You can estimate the cost of it that. Though Hyderabad Corporation has changed much of the change under the Dr. Mohanty period, we are fortunate that our team, we have worked with him that. Dr. Mohanty and we, Chandramohan Reddy team, we have worked with him. So the sufficient space you have to work out. While approving the colony layouts, leaving the open spaces shall be made mandatory. Still the real estate people will sell off in some or other way that need to be curtailed. All the existing water bodies shall be preserved. Everybody is watching how Hyderabad is going on the rainy season. A large area shall be provided for creating green lungs in urban agglomerations. The road junctions, media shall be provided wider enough for developing in the green spaces. These are some of the areas where corporation can plant into that. Identification of area is very, very difficult actually. So these are all same thing which have been covered. The policy. So there is a WALTA Act, Water Land Tree Act. The felling of the tree is very laborious actually. The people should be cautious for felling of somebody fells a tree and they should inform that. Huge penalties are laid at in our city also. It is being implemented. And policies for development of new areas, particularly while giving the permission for the houses and other things now, you must make some what area to be open, what area, how many trees to be planted, such type of things, floor space index, building offsets, utilization of natural resources shall be implemented scrupulously. This makes certain things of better of our urban diversity. Involvement of the stakeholders. This is very important actually. the local NGOs, resident welfare associations, industry shall be involved in the development. So without their involvement, nothing can be done actually. Hyderabad actually, the backward women groups are given some nurseries and we used to purchase back plants there. Like that, some knowledge parks, zoos, botanical gardens. So all these are the varied places of the developing the biodiversity within the urban area. In addition to that, the conducting awareness campaigns. We used to conduct lot many in schools during that period. I'm trying to remember that I worked in Hyderabad in 2000 to 2004 and 2006 to 2008 in Warangal Corporation. These around 6 years was worked in urban forestry areas. This is another very important topic about that. The plant species shall be so selected that they withstand pollution of the urban areas. The diversity of the plant species shall be increased by selecting various tree and shrub species. Still, I remember the days when I was range officer in working in urban forestry area. On the Begumpet flyover, if you want to work up and if you want to work and keep a potted plants and some work is to be done, we used to do the work at about in the early hours between 3 to 5. In the morning hours, if you stay there for a 1 hour or 2 hour, your face will be changed. Your almost a half-inch thickness of the blockish things will happen. That type of the pollution is there in the Hyderabad. Some Elstonia scalery, some glazed leaf from ficus species, certain ficus panda. So this is very, very important that where you want to plant, which plant you want to plant, and what is the level of the pollution. This is the most important responsibility of the architect. Just like that, with some color, you are giving some plant and that plant may die immediately. Within no time actually. The diversity of the plant species shall be increased by selecting various tree and shrub species. Introduction of the indigenous species. One should learn about these things from the Delhi actually. If you see the New Delhi area, you can see about even Pradeep Kishan book also. Somehow they planted mostly indigenous species. Everybody says that the Arjuna tree, terminally Arjuna, will not come into the roads. You can see huge trees of the mahogany, huge trees of the Caesalia pinnata, neem, tamarind, everything of jamun, such type of all indigenous, our plant species. Driptis roxburghi, previously used to call as a Putranjava roxburghi, Cassia fistula. You can see a beautiful, excellent flowering of the Cassia fistula if you go in the February, March season to the New Delhi areas. So such type of indigenous species you have to work out. Of course, Hyderabad is flooded with exotics. Even our peltoform is an exotic. Of course, it is normalized, it is almost domesticated, or it become indigenous to the Hyderabad. I can say that around 70% of the Hyderabad tree population is just peltoform pterocarpum only. So you must be very, very cautious. I'm not against the exotics, but the exotics has to be studied thoroughly. It is without study, I think recently, now the plant, I think Conocarpus lanceolatus, who brought from the Dubai and Qatar areas, from the desert areas, the only God only save this country actually. God only save these urban people and the nursery people who are distributing this plant like anything that. Within 7 to 10 years, across the country, you are able to see this plant, the Conocarpus lanceolatus. You can see in our KBR, Central Medias, every medias of the Hyderabad, wherever Pokoda is dying, Mimosas salangi is dying, and you are planting this bloody plant, which is horribly dangerous and it will break the basements, foundations, everything. So who has brought this and who has promoted, ultimately this become a pest actually. It's going to be a pest here actually. So such type of species, you must be very, very cautious about that. You can think of the lanthana actually. The lanthana during Victoria Queen, I think just a gesture of that, they brought the lanthana. Now India is spending hundreds of crores to remove the lanthana from the protected areas. I can tell you Bandipur, Nagarhole, Dudhwa, tiger reserves, even so many tiger reserves, Corbett, 50% of the area is occupied by lanthana. You are unable to see that no gross is coming, no palatable gross is coming because of the lanthorns. Like that, by introduction of a species by an architect is a very, very, very cautious thing now. I can tell you one more example also. Desmostracia bipinnata, one grass species was introduced because that grass species was a very good palatable grass for the herbivore plants. And that was introduced in the Kanha Tiger Reserve. Now, after becoming a certain age, it will become, the blade become just like the leaf blade become just like a scissors actually. It will cut the tongue of the herbivore species also. Now they started removal of that, spending lakhs of rupees to spend that. So, introducing any species, now tabobias are introduced like anything in the entire city. Okay, tabobias are okay, there is nothing wrong into that. You can talk about the Deilenex regia. It is none of the insect stays there and easily uprooted. All the Deilenex regias are useless species which you are still the people are planting on the things now. So regarding the species, it would have been a separate lecture actually. The Calvillia racemosa actually. The Mysore Maharaja has planned this particular one. He got a vision that every plant grows and flowers in February to March. During Dasara, he wants to need a flowering plant. After so much of research, they introduced this Calvillia racemosa, which was there actually. It became a Calvillia's glory in Mysore. In Medak area also, you can see these plants. Excellent one, looks like a grevia. So like that, I think, of course, I'm deviating entire topic. The standardization of the plant species for each agroclimatic urban regions. Okay. So that's all about that. So what can be planned? What can be the objective of that? Now let us see. After working in Hyderabad and 4 years, then I worked in somewhere as a state silviculturist in Mulugu. At that time, I was asked by Mrs. Smita Sabharwal, who was the commissioner at that time during the Warangal Corporation. I had been to that and I tried to work out some of the urban areas into the work now. So you can go through my presentation, which is there, that you can share into that. Practically, there is no forest department or there is no urban forestry, there is no park department, anything. There are some few malans and malis are there in Warangal. And to supervise, having an attendance, there is one garden supervisor. That was the status when I entered into the Warangal Corporation. And no planning, parks, nothing. And I have gone through the entire Warangal and Hanmakonda cities. Nowhere, not even a single proper avenue tree plantation is there in the Warangal Corporation. It is in 2006. And this even for the Vanamahotsav and all other things also, what is to be done is that begging and borrowing plants from the forest department. And after the doing some planting in their own work, they throw some plants which are useless plants to the municipal corporation, and the municipal corporation will take and they organize Vanamahotsavs and here and there. And here and there only Kanuga plants are there. Somewhere you can see that. That's about the status of the Warangal. When I joined in 2006, I was there just 18 to 19 months there. Some of the satisfied work during my service regime actually. So there is no contractor there. And there is nothing like that, any tender business for that. And they think that the planting is not at all a work for them actually. Some malans, they will put some plant and they put some water. That's it. That's all. One tanker is there for the entire Warangal system. And there is nothing else. And tree guard, it is a miracle for them actually. They don't know that what is a tree guard. Though it is 140 kilometers away from Hyderabad, they don't know, no question of tree guard business at all. So that was the status of the Warangal Corporation. When I asked her that, she designated my name as assistant director, and I selected one room, and I asked one of the section officer from Warangal, and I made one clerk, one operator, and started the functioning in the office. And no funds also in the Warangal Corporation. That was the status where I joined in the Warangal Corporation. Let me tell you, and after a series of meetings and spending some time, huge time with Mrs. Smita Sabharwal, and there was one government order during that 1 or 2 years by number 222, Fund Your City concept. Under that GO, we can develop junction improvements, central medias, development of parks, toilets, bus stops, foot-over bridge. And we can accept donations from all the organizations, schools, and everywhere, something like that. With this concept and with this order and with my laptop, I roamed in the Warangal for every merchant association, Fatima Educational Association, all rich people, Vaisyas Association, some other association, MPs, MLAs, Honorable Basara Sarai was the MLAs, Vinod Kumar were the MP at the time. We have gone to so many other places. Everywhere I used to go with my laptop, and Smita Sabharwal used to follow there. And everywhere we used to present that we want to change the Warangal, because none of the junction was there Warangal before 2006. No central media, no park, except that park which is there in the main row, main hall. All the Mali Malans will be there, and some here and there things will be done, used there. So this was the status. And fortunately, I do not have a record properly. They never given that. I tried to, for a presentation sake, I tried to ask it. More than 1 crore we gathered the money from different organizations. Fatima Education Society, Vaisa Education Society, and some other education society, and like that. Approximately 3 to 4 crores our estimate for the working to be done in the Warangal. You can have a look there. There are 9 junctions are there. Kazipeta, Fatim Nagar, District Collector, SBH, Nakalgutta, Alankar, Warangal, Venkatrama Theatre, etc. 2 wayside views, 10,000 tree guards, and 3 central medias are there, and some 7 to 8 parks are there. I don't want to take much of your time that, and the planting of open spaces. I'll show you the planting. All the open spaces are 100% filled with Prosopis zooliflora. There is no other plant exists there. Are you able to listen me, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So these are the works we thought that this Warangal we can change to some extent. For that, we prepared around 3 to 4 crores and started begging, borrowing the towns in that for all association and another thing. Could get with the name of the Smita Sabharwal, we could get a more than 1 crore of money, and some of the people who contributed about the junctions also. You can see that how 18 months, how the Warangal has changed also. So these were the junctions. No junction at all, no central media, just nothing. One pole will be there. This is the Warangal on 2006, before my arrival. You can see the parks. So the last one, the Christian colony, which I mentioned, is that is the across around 50 to 60 open spaces are there. That is the open space. And these are the parks. Some compound wall construction, some budget provision will be there. Some compound will be constructed. Some people will play cricket and other things. That's it. Some people will not play anything that. These are the cross section. I have not put all the things now. I did around 7 to 8 parks actually. But cross section for your explanation, I made all these things. You can see that central medias. They constructed some of the central medias left like this. And these central medias, they want me to plant. And they want to make some shrubbery and such type of activity which they are planning into that. Then I able to present to the commissioner that, no madam, I think we have a road, we have a pneumatic compressor, we have to break down this central media to have a good plants there in the central media. We can change over the Warangal Corporation. I tried to convince it. It was put into the council and it was approved, and ultimately I started working there. So I can show that these are the some of the status which I have shown that. A huge number of the photos are there. Because of the presentation, which time restricts that, I put as minimum thing now. After improvement, you can see that. I started with the drilling of things, the pneumatic compressor. Almost till I get a soil actually. 14 to 1500 rupees we spent on each pit of it actually. And with that we have planted Bahinia blackiana, terminal, this Tabubia argentia. We have planted mahogany. We have planted Ficus religiosa on these central medias. You can see that they are in excellent position. Unfortunately, I don't have any photos after the development actually. So This is the way we started this central medias. And these are the central medias. This is the Narsampet road. The mahogany is planted. You can see the Smita Sabharwal there. And she used to be the so supporting for me that to make a city changeable into the system of that. And this was the made each species I made one of the central medias, and that central medias was developed, and they are in excellent condition now. I have seen that. I have not taken the photographs of the later development stage actually. And you can see that this is also Narsampet road. Swetenia mahogany has been planted on this. And later when you come to the junctions, you can see the collectorate junction, how it is there. District collector residence it is. I have altered it to that. And even for the junctions, I should remember that there is one Chandigarh, there is one traffic institute is there. I'm not aware now, just didn't remember that. And they have done a lot of study. They came to the center. They have taken all the measurements and all the workout and all the traffic they have taken. And all the junctions were developed scientifically with the clear, meticulous planning of the Chandigarh Institute. There is one institute. I didn't remember exactly now. And they have done all the junctions, what to be done and what to be done, where should be central media. They have made out all workout for that. And accordingly, we have changed that. This is one junction that you can see that old photo and new photo also. And this is one of the other junction, maybe Alankar or something like that. In 2006, it is 14 years old. So this is another junction. This is another junction. You can see the old and new. So all the junctions were developed by me. It is definitely a privilege that nothing was there prior to my arrival there. You can see the junctions, how we made the roads. Now when come to the parks, actually, there was the system which the parks, I made a colony welfare associations. Once conducted meetings there. Whoever the colony welfare associations, they come forward that they want to maintain. Dr. Mohanty has started one scheme in the colony welfare association scheme in the Hyderabad actually. With that, I started developing Methodist colony and model colony. The scheme is that, in a nutshell, that initially corporation will develop it. First year, we will give the 75% cost of the maintenance to the association. Second year, it will be 50%. Third year, it will be 25%. Fourth year onwards, the colony has to maintain it. It is extraordinary success in Hyderabad because I had an exposure in Hyderabad, the same thing being implemented in the Warangal. I started some of the 7-8 colonies of the parks. This is one park which I developed there. This is another park. You can see how it was and how after the development. I do not have colony welfare associations. They used to take confidence of them. And they used to do the things. There is one very important open space right on the main road almost in front of the 1,000 Pillars Temple. Such a prestigious, almost a heritage site of that. And you can see that how it is, that Raipura Park actually. In a very, very horrible condition it was. And one of the good architect probably, I think Srivastava has given the design for this Raipura Park. Srivastava has given not only for this, that he has given a Vadipalle also. And some of his designs have been worked out later on. They changed and different things have been done that because of some cracks of the money. And because Smita Sabharwal madam has left and later on I was also transferred and the Vadipalle was kept like that. Initially, Srivastava was the designer for entire program, entire parks and things now. This Raipura Park design was given by Srivastava only. So this is, you can see that how it became so neat, right on the main road it is, I can say that. It's the main road of the Hanmakonda Warangal road. So this is another park. She used to come that, everywhere commissioner used to come and she used to monitor the things now. Day-to-day progress, she used to monitor that. That's why we could do that in 18 months or 19 months, such a marked difference in the Warangal. That was the developed park. There are some other parks also. So that's all about the Warangal, the corporation. If you do not have a time, I will close the presentation here itself now, conclude it now, we can open for the questions.
Sir, it is only 6:20. So So another 20 minutes, let us hope. Another 15 minutes you take, then if people want, we will continue, sir. No worry. We are enjoying your talk.
Okay then. So I think this all a memorable experience with the Warangal actually. Whenever I go there and whenever I see these things, definitely I feel a pleasure of the areas actually. Here you can see that all the Pongamia, those are the some avenues existing prior to that actually. Those only the Pongamia was there, and I did number of avenues there, and I involved all the colonies. And second thing that I could not present all those things. First time in the history of the Warangal, I made a 10,000 tree gods tender. That tenderer, Mr. Somebody from SR Nagar, our area, and he suffered, he roamed 2 years to the corporation office to get his money back. Always I used to make a call and he never used to get a fund. The 10,000 tree gods I brought, and all the 10,000 was planted and all the trees are growing, and that fellow was suffered for a payment actually. And that may be the first and last of the purchase of the tree gods in Warangal, that was. So, huge avenue also planted in the Warangal in addition to this. And open spaces which is there on the Prosopus, there was a JCBs actually in Warangal Corporation. I used to take out all the engineering wing people also support me like anything that. They used to give the JCB on a holidays and other things now. I used to approve the Prosopus and ultimately plant the other open spaces also. So some contributory work has been done with the total support of the commissioner and other things now with of my experience of the Hyderabad. Let us have a small experience of the Hyderabad also. Of course, the Hyderabad is not done by my alone. Warangal, I can say that boldly, I am the man who has done everything. But as far as the Warangal is concerned, Dr. Mohanty is the commissioner and Dr. Chandramohan Rao is the director of the urban forestry. Under both their guidance, I was in charge of the Khairatabad Circle 5 actually. That Sanjay Reddy Nagar, BK Gouda, this part and Khairatabad and Central for Circle 5 of the old municipal corporation of Hyderabad. During that time, it was not the GHMC. But whatever they planned is still they are existing now in that Hyderabad also. You can have that, how the things are there in Hyderabad. These are the objectives of that. To carry out intensive afforestation in the Twin Cities. Lakhs of trees have been planted in Hyderabad. And he created one urban forestry wing in addition to the horticulture wing. That is the basic difference that one forest officer, Mr. Chandramohan Reddy, was brought as a director. And we were 4 range officers who were there with him. And some foresters was there, some horticulture officers were there. So 50% of the Hyderabad under the control of the horticulture wing and 50% under the control of the director urban forestry. We used to divide the work and we used to execute the work. So to create a bioaesthetic environment by developing green, beautiful, hygienic surroundings. He's a great personality. I always remember him, who is a doctorate in urban planning, who is a doctorate in town planning, and he used to visit a number of countries to present his lecture that. Whenever he travels that, all the officers used to be on the toes. He used to say that to me, and Ramakrishna, your pride of India is falling on the road, try to send some person like that. He used to identify the botanical names of each species which we used to plant on the roads of the Hyderabad. That was the great commissioner actually. To augment the recharging of the groundwater, the lotus pond was developed during that period. To reduce the intensity of the radiation in Twin Cities. To beautify the traffic islands. Huge revenue also we used to get on that. Still, I remember a case that the Kirtilal used to pay around 4 to 5 lakhs for the Somajigoda Chaurasta for his boats. If he is able to not to pay within a day, I used to remove them boats and other things also. Such a control was there. The advertisement board in the Khairatabad Park tender was 39 lakhs. The money used to come like anything, even for the advertisement in Hyderabad also. To reduce environmental pollution, to create awareness among the residents and the visitors, students on environment, displaying slogans, signboards, publications, etc. and etc. etc. So there is a presentation, there is all the data is available in the GHMC website also. but definitely my interaction will be there. All the parks which are more than 1 acre in the extent are being developed by city level parks. During that period, they developed 30. Even today also there is only 31 or 32. Not of much. This is of the municipal corporation of the Hyderabad. I am not talking about the GHMC. Even now also there are same 30, 31 parks are there. The strategy is that landscaping using modern techniques, intensive afforestation with indigenous and ornamental species, illumination, fountains, cascades, recreation for the visitors. This should be our strategy to develop these parks. Huge number of the parks have been done into that. I'll tell you 1 or 2 parks which you know that. This is the Jalaga Vengalrao Park. This was one of the aerial view of the Jalaga Vengalrao Park. The great architecture, you can see that. Still it is being maintained in a perfect manner. You can enjoy this. This is also Jalaga Vengalrao Park. So this was the dream of Chandramohan Reddy and as well as Dr. Mohanty. The Yusuguda Park. Later on it was renamed as a Krishnakant Park. It was a dustbin actually. Garbage dump it was. After this design, we got into like this actually. You can see the photos that it was a garbage dump during that period. And this is the developed photos. I'll show you some of the photos also. I don't have other photos actually. Okay, we'll try to see that. So this is another my memory. Actually, I want to go to the Shamalkunta, how it was. I don't know that. That name also changed into KLN Park, something like that. This was the design given by the Raj Expedite architect. This was the working drawing. To get this land of 8 acres of the Shamalkunta, I roamed to this land was under the control of the Hyderabad Metro Water Works. And with Dr. Mohanty's persuasion, I used to roam every day. I used to go to get back the land. After 5-6 months persuasion, I myself personally signed and take over this land of the 8 acres in Amirpet. 8 acres in Amirpet is hundreds of crores of the property now. And with this, Raj Expedite has given the working. And with the drawing that I planted and I sat there and I did the entire groundwork till it is developed. The Google map, Google photo, I cut it and pasted there here. I have not seen now later on. So this was the working drawing given by the Raj Expedite. I still have a memory for me, some of the projects which I personally done into that. One of the very important technique Raj Expedite used to have, the root ball technique of the planting of that. The root ball technique, even some of the central medias also used to do that. So we used to have the mixture of that, red soil, the sand, as well as farmyard manure, 3:2:1. And with we used to ramify it, then we used to plant, and then once again we will put the soil, and once again we used to ramify it, and then it will be tied with the things now. So this made the very excellent thing of the technique which is being followed during the Shamalkunta and other parks also. This I did it. Those are the, for namesake, I shown 1 or 2 parks for you. Then comes that I already explained about the development of the colony parks. 100 numbers were selected. I explained the strategy, the plantation of the trees, ornamental, development of lawns, furniture, formation of the pathways and jogging tracks, illumination and children. The concept is the same as I explained to the Warangal, same explained. This was the copied in the Warangal actually. And this is the park I spent. I might have had so many times as a lunch in Dr. Geeta's house actually. She was a reader. I don't know. The backside there was a Dr. Geeta's house. I never gone there after 10-15 years also. And this was my design and I did it. We are not architects. Some pathway, something. This is the Hemilia patterns. Some stone structure we made. We don't want to fell the trees of both the neem trees. We made some sitting place like that. This is a Methodist colony. You can see that still it is being maintained. So very simple design. It is not a complicated like we are not expertise of like you people doing designing things of that. But somehow the colony people were very favorable. And always when I go there, all the people used to come there and we used to chit chat, and with their help and we did it, and it is being maintained. These are some of the other colony parks in Hyderabad. There may be many colony parks. The left side one is the Model Colony Park. These people all belongs to the electricity authorities. These are also almost, I was a family member to the Model Colony. Whenever I go there, all the ladies and everybody used to come that who used to develop certain things of that. So these are the open spaces which converted like that, which doesn't deserve for the park, small pathway with Shaba stone and the Pelto farm and certain other Parkia, Baigla and Iloza, certain species we used to plant. That's about the parks. I'm making a minimum thing of that. You need not be explained in such a detailed things now. So, sorry. One is colony park and major parks. Then comes theme parks. Chandra Mohan Reddy got a vision that we have, with a lot of reputation, we have made that some bamboo park, some ficus park, some rainbow park, certain palms park. All these parks we are his vision actually, and we have been implemented this type of things now. There are around 18 themes which they have done that. Still they are there actually. This Palmetum. The young architects who may be there in this presentation and who may be listening my voice, so they can have, everybody can identify all palms if you visit Palmetum, which is just backside of the Malakpet. So many people doesn't know it, but you can learn all the palms. So there are 124 varieties of the palm species was planted in that. I'm not aware how it is, but it was good actually. Then Ficarium, it was 18 acres. It was 64 varieties of the ficus species. Like that, Deccan Plants Garden, 80 varieties of the tree species, bougainvillea, all types of the bougainvilleas, exotic plants, climbers, herbal, Japanese garden, rainbow garden, butterfly garden, all host plants used to be planted with that, rock garden, sacred plants garden. This garden was done in SRT in Sanatnagar area, done by me actually. I don't know how it is. So Nakshatravanam, all these things was done there. And plumerias, different varieties of plumerias, psychedariums, edeniums, such type of all things was done there. There are many still there in the website. It means they are being maintained actually. So even today also there are same things are there. One are moonlight, bonsai, such and fragments, 2-3 things have been added. Rest are the things now. This screenshot was taken from the website of yesterday. This is the Palmetum, the day one actually. Now it is closed actually. You can't walk in between of the palms. This is the Ficarium. All Benjamina, all Panda, such type of active. This is the lotus pond. Then comes another variety, the trophic islands. Plantation of ornamentals, lawns, shrubbery, display of slogan boards, and become a source of revenue. These are the trophic islands. Of course, these islands are almost disappeared now. They become small and small and small and small actually. This is another, we must remember once again, Dr. Mohanty. This was a work of around 30 to 40 lakhs in front of the Hyderabad Corporation. It looks like a grand actually. City Square by name that. This is also Raj Expedit. I think he has done the designing of the things now. Washingtonia Pilfera palms was there. Still they are there on the corporation side. You can see that Washingtonia Pilfera, that and towards SBI side. So this is the municipal corporation GHMC complex designing actually. He signed the sanction orders and tenders right on the bayonet in front of the corporation. He's a great personality under whom it is being, Hyderabad is being developed into that. So these are some of the traffic islands. This is another island to my memory actually. This was Telugu Talli in front of the secretariat. The initial days photos. 2-3 things you can go and observe these architects actually. This tree guard was developed in those days for 1200 rupees, less plus minus 1200 plus actually. And then down there is a metal plate. The water can be seep into that. Beautiful design of this tree guard. What you see that you can go and see also. The tree guards are still there. And the traffic island was adjudged as one of the best traffic island in both the states. I took an award from Mr. Sati Nair, Chief Secretary, for this traffic island. So this is the traffic island. Beautiful fountains. Telugu Talli, that was the statue. I think state there after division of the state, I think the things of the Telugu Talli is different now. So this is another history of the Dr. Mohanty. Of course, we are remembering him because of his work actually. This is near Khairatabad Chaurasta and adjoining to the ICICI Bank and Khairatabad railway station. People used to urinate there. One fine day, he used to inspect this area and everybody is urinating and all the things. We were all summoned there, including the architect. He himself named that, he put it as one Shatadhara. So this is the fountain actually. All 100 lines of the water comes into that. So it was designed as a wayside view. It is still being maintained. So these are the corners, spaces, how it is to be the great thought actually for him, that the commissioner, and we are being implementers and learners of such a great personality. So this is another thing. Of course, it is not there now, but still you have to remember. This is the Dilsukh Nagar Central Media. Now there is a metro and other things. It was a huge question. Who asked you to plant Ficus religiosa? And we used to answer so many things now. This is one of the greatest plant actually. It is self-pruning character will be there. And all the central media was digged out and excellently they planted that. And Ficus religiosa plants have come up well. This was our dream project of the director at that time. Of course, I have not done this work, and these are the part of the things which done by my colleagues. Of course, these plants was substitutely planted on service roads. Something are surviving, something are gone. So this is also, you can learn that this is on the Mint Road Central Media. This is one particular Central Media actually. From the ground, if you think that it is around 70 degrees inside actually, some 20 mm chips were put into this with a plywood sheet, and that center there will be planting, and right side and left side, both sides there will be 20 mm chips will be there. It will become a ventilation. This was also given by some design actually. Within 4 or 5 years, you can see that how Alistonia scholars has gone. This is also with the root ball technique. We have planted that. The Duranta is planted. The center media still exists in front of the Mint compound. It is the plantation on the main roads. This works I did it actually. Even on the debris loan land in front of the LV Prasad IMAX, whatever the trees was planted by me. The LV Prasad IMAX, all the palms were also Rhystinia regia also planted by me. Then comes plantations. 30 lakhs planted on the road avenue since 1982. 2.5 lakhs added every year. That was the strategy. So, nothing to explain in this. Open space plantations, avenues, aviary plantations, central medias. You can see that this is in front of Charminar. A central media within a width of 2 to 3 feet. We digged out and we put a platform there. Likewise, we have a central media right in front of the State Central Library also, even in the Somajiguda also. Of course, because of the metros and all other things, most of the things, certain areas, they have been damaged. Institutional plantations, we used to contact schools and other things. These are some of the things now, translocation. We used to make our own material. We used to brought from Kadiyam and rebag it and make it ready for the tall plants for the planting system of that. Small ornamental also, corporation used to develop instead of depending the things now. Erramanjil at certain other areas, we used to soil and moisture conservation works also. In Jubilee Hills, we used to check dams, rockfill dams like a forest also. I already explained about that extension and publicity. We used to get some of the material. The final slide actually. What to be done in urban landscapes? Our sincere advice to you all architects actually, the assessment of the biodiversity. Before doing any project, you must do that. Try to protect whatever it is available. Try to protect. As I explained you that the neem trees were there, they are in between. Now present day what we are, our tentative attitude is that any tree is there, it should be felled, then only park will be developed. It should not be like that. So you have to assess it. What best you can keep the existing biodiversity there. Maybe stone, maybe tree, maybe dry tree also. In a wildlife language, you can call it as nag. So raptors, kites, they used to do a lot of things. During our wildlife training, professors used to say that a log is a fit to be many doctorates actually. You can study on the decomposition of the log in a different way also. So you can make the things now, even dry trees also, you can make an ornamental things. These are the aspects which you can do that. Organizations, government bodies, individuals, urban areas, these are the areas where you can do the things now. Exotics. Much of the things I already explained you during the initial things of the exotics. Try to reduce the exotics actually, because of course, you can't say that I'm not against the exotics, but definitely exotic, when you are going to introduce, you must know that what is going to happen to that particular exotic in our country and in our place. And you don't introduce exotic in a large way. You introduce one or two plants and then you study about it. Then you can go on extending into that. Say, I can't say that because say eucalyptus and subabul, if you think of that, both are exotics giving crores of revenue to the farmers. True. But if you think that, I'll tell you one of the example of Dolapalli Academy, Forest Academy, where subabul has been planted. No other tree will come except subabul. No question of biodiversity does not exist there. Only one thing, always seed is multiplying, multiplying and multiplying, only subabul will come there. Even for eucalyptus also. It is a fact that water, so the leaf will not decompose. So naturally, the soil become acidic. So a lot of things are there actually. Though we are getting revenue, farmers are getting revenue, and we have developed certain other things. So certain exotics are maintainable. Certain exotics are manageable. Say, let us think of the peltoform. If you think of the university, Usman University, you can see 90% peltoform on. Still they are okay. But many of the places you can see peltoform. It is okay. But it is not a harmful thing. Certain Dalonex rhizia. I myself as a range officer, when I worked here actually, many trees used to fall down and we used to remove that. You have to work out which species need to be planted. There was one more species actually, I used to get always the Holoptilia integrifolia. Some nonsense of insects used to come and people used to get a lot of allergy and other things. So you have to study about the plants thoroughly before planting into the certain areas. You can study about the trees of Delhi, written by the Pradeep Kishan actually. It is worth reading book actually. He is a non-botanist who studied around 30-40 years going around of the Delhi, and he wrote it that how the indigenous plants are faring well in that. You can have a look of the book actually. And whenever you go to the Delhi, you visit that, particularly as an architect, you visit all the areas. What are the main areas actually? You can see neem, you can see Ficus bengalensis, you can see Caesalia pinnata, Cassia fistula, even Ficus krishna, you can see that, you can Terminalia arjuna, Hardwickia bainata. Hardcore forest species are being planted on the roads of the Delhi and they are faring extraordinarily well. Why don't you plant here also? So the polluted areas where indigenous plants may not survive. Certain areas you have to go for the exotics. Certain shrubbery, certain other things. Say for example, Allistonia scholaris can survive on the central medias, etc. So what I want to say is that the urban landscape design issues must have been considered ecological objective. protecting environment and our planet in contemporary world, must be noted that the quality of the landscape design must depend on the quality of the green areas as a habitat. Urban green areas and landscape design should contain the subjects of landscape ecology. You should try to understand, make them understand, the people who are coming to you for the thing, how best you can protect it. You can do something. Definitely, the owner is the person who dictates to you that I don't want this, you do like that, you do like that. But ultimately, you are the designing certain part of the things which you can do as an architect. You can do certain things toward the contribution of the biodiversity. Let us hope that Hyderabad will flourish with the biodiversity. Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions? You can ask, you can interact.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Let me just conclude. Sri Ramakrishna Garu, it was a wonderful evening, sir. We are very happy. The way you have flown your experiences and talked about how you have worked hard in Warangal. It's really commendable. I mean, it's an inspiration to all the youngsters, especially who are in this group, and I'm sure it is being streamed in YouTube. Am I right, Harish? YouTube and Instagram also. YouTube. So this recording has been done, sir. This recording will be put up in YouTube soon, and everybody can get benefited. And we are not going to leave Ramakrishna Rao Garu with this talk. I'm sorry, sir. We will call you again and again for a few more talks, specifically your expertise. You have today spoken on, all round your experience, but some focused things we would like to hear from you more in depth. So we are very happy to know how you have made Warangal city very green and with all those dry, junctions and central medias and parks and all that. Great achievements, sir. It's they all look very small, but the effort behind is huge. That is the greatest thing that you have done, because all of us, sir, let me tell you, all landscape architects in this group who are here, all have struggled, sir. We have all struggled, and not small struggle, sir. All of us, and horticulturists of Hyderabad and also Andhra, how they have struggled, we know, sir. So your struggle, we can very well understand. The way you have, even done about Hyderabad, the Jalagam Vengalrao Park or State Secretariat or Krishnakant Park or Shamal Kunta theme parks. I mean, you have done plethora of things, and you just covered broadly today. And we are looking forward for some specific things in future. We will call you again, sir. Using so many beautiful tree species that you talked about and the plant material. Let me tell you, sir, all of us landscape architects you as a forestry expert, horticulture experts, landscape architects, we are all, I think we have done a lot of punya in this Janma, sir. Next Janma, I think we are going to reap the benefit of it. I'm sure, sir, because I myself have planted lakhs and lakhs of square meters of lawns, lakhs and lakhs of trees, lakhs and lakhs of ground covers, shrubs, then creepers, and we have gone through, sir, and we always learn from horticulturists, experts like you. We have been interacting with many of you, and we have done excellent works in last 30 years. Lastly, the way you have said to advise everybody that all of the people should first understand, assess the biodiversity of any site, which is very, very important in terms of soil, hydrology, geology, ecology, flora and fauna, and horticulture, various aspects. And that's what I also teach, sir. By the way, last 30 years, I'm also teaching our architecture students all about biodiversity, ecosystems, biomes, and how to look at the planet Earth, and then where we are designing, and what are its nativities and what are its exotics, and how do we combine and bring out beautiful things. And today, yes, we are facing some new problems, that people are going excess without understanding, putting trees on 10th floor, 15th floor, trees, apartments with trees and all that fancy ideas. But one should understand all this nature has so much of microorganisms and a lot of allergies which are emerging. Huge allergy war is facing us, and one needs to understand that it's not casually done. It has to be done very carefully. So you talked about Conocarpus, Eucalyptus, Subabul, and so on and so forth. Even these are today we are facing a war with Conocarpus. I don't know. All of us have to really inform the governments to stop or reduce the usage of Conocarpus and various other things. Like Alstonia scholaris has created a lot of problems in Delhi in some areas, created a lot of headache to people, and this is things are emerging. So one needs to be carefully looking at what to use, what not to use. And lastly, we all bought so many books, sir, like you suggested. Lakhs of rupees we spent last 30 years and bought so many beautiful books by greatest writers. The Complete Gardening in India by Gopalaswamy Iyengar. That book was a Bible for us. So that book is not available now. And everything is on internet, and people just touch of button, people are just deciding about the species and all that. But those books are there with us, and I'm very happy that Srivatsa Architect has worked with you for a long time. I'm very happy that he was associated with you, sir, from our Isola. So thank you very much. And any questions, please?
Thank you very much, Ramakrishna Garu. Wonderful opportunity for us to learn and work with you. And my submission is, in general, I am from Narsarapeta, worked in Hyderabad for
Sir, please introduce yourself. Please introduce your name and everything.
So my name is Lakshmi Prasad, worked for Taj Falaknuma every year in Hyderabad. I worked with Dr. Chandramohan Reddy Garu. It's a great learning opportunity. My only request is, in Hyderabad, we are focusing on the medians with the more median wall thickness is more than the plantation thickness.
Earth.
Yeah, earth space is very, very limited. And one more thing, now JCBs are available. We don't have to dig up with the pit by pit. We should make the trench on the asphalted area, and we should do the more of plantation space so that the plants can grow healthy and they penetrated horizontally also, not only vertical depth. And one more thing I would request you, we need to focus on adding the multiple layers of vegetation, not a single tree and only grass or small shrubs. If we do that, the glare of opposite vehicles can be reduced. In Bangalore, what we do is, we have the trees on the median and at the avenues also. The canopy should be overlapping the entire road so that the sunlight should not be falling on the road, asphalt area. In this case, what is advantage is, you don't have to run the AC of the vehicle. Air conditioning, we are wasting our money on the air conditioning and running of the vehicles. We should always reduce the possibilities of mitigation of the sunshine. I think please don't get me wrong. You have done a wonderful job, and a lot of transformation took place in Hyderabad compared to the earlier years. It's a great contribution. My only submission is, in the future, we should also focus for enhancing the vegetation all over. And vertical gardens is brilliant. I don't know, somehow people are thinking that lantana is more, entire forest bed is taken over by lantana. I absolutely agree with you. But if you plant something which will be much more denser vegetation, and if you cover the forest floor, lantana will get depleted automatically. What we are doing is, even Conocarpus is a wrong thing to plant everywhere. We are going by the looks and feels of it, and we are not seeing the effects, after effects. the lantana can be depleted by using the little more denser vegetation. We should only look for the balance of ecosystem. We should not look for the population dominance. Hope I agree with you.
Okay. Definitely, the lantana in a horticulture manner, you can reduce it and it is not that harmful. I am talking about the lantana camera, which is in a wild actually.
Agree, sir. I'm talking about that only. I moved in the Western Ghat forest. Everywhere, lantana camera is taken over this thing. Even on the urban roads also, it is population density is very high. My submission is, if you are planting the other species of the plants, which will be much more denser than the lantana can be controlled. Like how Pardini has overtaken the entire agricultural land or wasteland, the lantana also has become a menace to some extent. But lantana still gives support for the butterfly proliferation. And it will also act as a, to some extent, for the fencing of the agricultural lands.
Prasad Garu, thank you, Prasad Garu. I just want to give opportunity for others also.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else, please?
Narasimhan, with the permission, can I say a few seconds?
Sir, please, welcome, sir.
Yeah. First, it's not a question, but it's only a word of thanks to our very close friend, Ramakrishna Rao. It was a wonderful presentation listening to you, sir. Wonderful experience listening to you. It was a great learning. Thank you very much. Wonderful discussions we had. Thank you.
Sir, and also I will add one thing.
Welcome, sir.
Ramakrishna Rao Garu doing such works in traffic islands where the traffic movement is crazy. The car drivers and the scooterists, the two-wheelers, four-wheelers, they drive crazily and they will try to kill you. I mean, you are trying to do a work in the midst of such a hostile, environment. that itself is a huge task. I know, because I worked on national games from Madhipatnam, here, Madhipatnam to the national games. That whole traffic island and the whole stretch, few kilometers. I know how I suffered. Any bus will come onto us, any car will come onto us, and you have to be so careful while walking and doing such works. So appreciate,
Narasimhan, you have rightly articulated that point. It is somewhat easier to do a new thing, but from a bad thing to transform to a brilliant thing, yes. It's an amazing work. I must hats off to you, sir. Hats off to you, Mr. Ramakrishna Rao. Wonderful work done. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Raghupati Gar, for your comments.
Sir, anybody else wants to say something?
So, hello, sir. This is Harika.
Yes, please.
I have put the question in the messages also. I'll just read that. Please. So I'm saying even we as architects feel that the major implementation of Conocarpus in the cities can be hazardous in near future. So from our side, we are taking all the precautions to not to use in our projects. Then how do you think we can get this species rule out or stop in practices or from the nurseries, wherever it is coming from? Thank you.
Yes, good question it is actually. Only thing that the Scadium people have done huge damage on this. Mm-hmm. Because it is very easy to propagate.
Yes.
Oh.
The Scadium can be very useful thing, and simultaneously it is very harmful also. I can tell you, in addition to your question, when you are doing horticulture or any avenue type of system from the Scadium based, if you plant the plant of the Scadium directly in Hyderabad central media, it will die.
Correct, sir.
And second thing, that only thing you have, our soil is red soil, there is a block cotton soil. Some fertility, some urea based, some nonsense they will make out there, and they bring out here actually. The Scadium plants are good. They are extraordinary in getting a germination. Say Anthocephalus kadamba. If you want the plants, our nursery people are very difficult to grow the Anthocephalus kadamba in our nurseries. But whereas they do in a lakhs actually. So you have to get a small seedlings. We should see that it is a we have to rebag it. After establishing certain things, we have to plan. That you must be very cautious about the Kadiyam people. And only one thing is that you can do that. You can address the forest department. Forest department is not using, I think so. One. And second, you can address the corporation also. So not to use these things, so that Director Urban Forestry and the Chief Horticulturist will be there, and 2-3 people only will control the entire Hyderabad.
Okay.
We can definitely discontinue that. One more thing which I want to tell you, all these works in Hyderabad I did in 2002-2004. In Warangal, between 2006 to 2008. I have retired in 2015 from Telangana and 17 from Andhra Pradesh, both the times.
Okay.
I'm a retired man actually. Of course, your points can be transferred to the corporation, but definitely I am not working because some other people are questioning how this happens, that happens. These are the things which, because of my things that I have made my presentation of my works.
Okay.
And one more submission is that the GHMC work is done by Dr. Chandramohan Reddy with 8 other people. Out of 5 to 6 people, I am one of them. I did some of the Circle 5, Khairatabad, BK Goda, certain other areas. And some other person will do that. Of course, it is a common work, unity of the work, we done together actually. Every night we used to meet, every day we used to meet. Almost day and night we worked 17 to 18 hours during my period. We worked there in Hyderabad Corporation. But as far as your specific question of the Conocarpus is concerned, on behalf of your association, you can address 2-3-4 authorities only. One is HMDA, another is GHMC, Director Urban Forestry, one is Forest Department. Where without these 3 people, nothing can be planted in Hyderabad. As simple as that.
Okay.
You can address on behalf of ISOL also.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Anybody
sir.
else, please?
So one more question. I am Naveen, a landscape architect, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, now we see, because of Haritaharam, the widespread of plantations which are taking place across an entire urban fringes and also the rural areas.
Okay.
Mass plantations are happening. But unfortunately, we see a huge mortality rate because there's no proper infrastructure to support these plantations in terms of water supply and all during peak summers. So, is the purpose, even though it's successful in urban fringes and all, where there are a lot of lakes and other things, but in rural areas where there's not much of infrastructure availability, this is actually a huge drainer on terms of your resources, both financial as well as manpower resources. So, from your expertise, sir, how do you suggest this can be rectified?
Thank you for your question, gentlemen. It is not correct actually. So you have to see a relative thing in certain things. And last day, just 2 days back, there is 1 hour talk by Honorable Chief Minister in the Assembly. You can listen it. One thing. And second thing, why I'm telling you that he purchased around 13,000 tractors to 13,000 villages. I used to travel in common villages. Every village has an avenue and every village avenue is established. We have to compare existing to the present one now. 13,000 tractors purchasing and every tractor giving to a village and every nursery is from a village side definitely is a much in advanced stage. It is true. The mortality will be always there in the avenues because survival of the trees depend upon different aspects. Not only water actually. Many places in Telangana, stone also will be struck out to the main route. Ultimately, plant will die. So certain things may happen into that, but it is being replicated. Definitely, it can be rectified. We can correspond to the certain other areas. So they are taking care of it actually. It's not that you have to compare earlier period to this period actually. They have given lot of infrastructure. You can inquire in any village, any major panchayat, they have a tractor. And this was never there in the history of the Telangana. Okay, I think I answered your question.
Yes, sir. And also, as Harika has addressed this issue earlier. Lot of Conocarpus is also being introduced as part of the Haritaharam, and everywhere you see whatever the greenery
That's
which is
why.
visible.
That's why there are only 3 authorities. It is
Yes.
as simple as that. You can go as a representation, as a meeting, take out with the principal. Only PCCF stays in Aranya Bhavan. Opposite there is a GHMC. The commissioner will be there, or you can call the director urban forestry, and there is one officer in HMDA. That's it. These 3 people will sort out the issue. Once they issues an order, Conocarpus need not be planted, nobody will plant. These are the only 3 people who dictates the terms to the entire Telangana state.
Sir, are they not aware, sir?
They are aware. They are aware, but what happens is they feel they do that is a bigger plant. Some surprisingly, when I am going to the Apollo hospital, this entire KBR central media, such a beautiful trees have been uprooted and died, they are replaced by the Conocarpus.
Exactly.
Very unfortunate, actually, very unfortunate. Some articles can be written on the paper also. I have written 2-3 articles actually, but we have to give the representation first of all, and non-government organizations need to represent. And one good article, definitely it will change. Certain works which are being done by the department need to be questioned in a little bit hopeful manner. It may not happen that talk to you between you and me, but definitely it takes time, and definitely it will happen. They have started reducing it. I have mentioned so many places. I worked with the principal CC of Andhra Pradesh. I was allotted to Andhra after retirement in Telangana. Then I joined there and I retired there. Then I told to PCCF that he issued some orders also there. But the only thing what happens, Vijayawada commissioner wants that some Kadiyan people, some other thing that, which we can't say on the across the videos. Certain things they have a vested interest, certain other things, only that plant will be looks good. Overnight you want to do the horticulture, and overnight they want to develop a park. And this will be the only plant available. So let us use it. Some minister comes, some inauguration comes. Under such type of things only it is being happened.
Instant coffee, instant diapers, and instant landscapes.
Yeah, it happens.
Are the order of the...
And unfortunately, I have written one environmental plan for Dalmia Cements in Kadapa, Podutur. And during that, I used to write Schedule 1 conservation plan for wildlife. Urban forestry is a little interested subject. The previous subject is there, and I try to update here and there now. But basically, after retirement, I restricted to wildlife. And within the wildlife, I used to contribute some Wildlife Act legal cases, those things. So when I had been to the Dalmia Cement, they planted 10 hectares of that this Conocarpus plantation.
My God.
Horrible to see such areas of interior Podutur division, they have a total Conocarpus.
Very unfortunate.
How this Conocarpus has gone to the nook and corners of the country in a very short span. Very unfortunate.
Okay, sir. So,
Please, sir, please.
Anybody?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can do that. You can do that, sir. No doubt about it. They will give, sir, an appointment, and you can explain into that. Your committee can go and explain into that. Definitely on your letterhead, you can represent it. There is another organizations also. I too will try to do that.
Fine. Thank you, sir.
Definitely, sir. Your word as a valid, sir. Your word as a valid. Previously also we have empaneled. I don't know that Mr. Mahendra used to work with us in urban forestry. I don't know that where he is actually. Young architect, Mr. Mahendra used to work with us during the GHMC period between 2000 to 2004. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So many of the architects, casual giving of the planning and not updating the existing species and botany and such type of, you should be making a habit of it, sir. Don't think on otherwise actually. The learning of the species knowledge, it is a different actually. You must be, very few people of the architects are aware of the various species and repercussions on the species actually. It is
Okay,
an
sir.
art actually.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Anybody else, anything, please? Mani Madhavi, are you there? Gaurav Maheshwari, are you there?
Yes, sir. Very much.
Gaurav Maheshwari, you had
Yes, sir.
what's your question? What plants in terrace garden in densely populated area? It's a huge subject, boss. So in short, what one can say, you consult any landscape architect? Close.
Sure.
Yeah. Who else? Mani Madhavi? No, she's not there. Okay. So shall we conclude? Anybody else, anything to say, please? So should I conclude, Harish? So thank you all those who have attended today's our Isola Hyderabad chapter talk series by a great expert, and we are blessed to have had a great talk from Mr. Gubbala Ramakrishna Rao garu, and we are very thankful to him, sir, to you, sir, for bearing with us with a lot of hiccups, and I think all those hiccups were for good. I always believe anything goes wrong happens for good, sir. This is my outlook towards life. One need not panic. Problems bring better solutions. So I'm sure we had see how beautiful the talk was after that initial, hiccups that we had. And I thank all of the people who attended. Thank you very much for the evening. Good night, sir. Good night.
Okay. Thank you, sir.